Satnam, everybody. Okay, my neighbor finally stopped mowing his lawn. This retrograde. As soon as I started recording, he started mowing his lawn, like right next to the camera. Okay, I probably needed to pause anyway. So that's what literally this video is even about. It's about the retrograde. It's about the way that retrograde energies are looked at and the way that they're handled on Earth, and the way that they're handled within some Pleiadian cultures, within the Pleiadian cultures of my parallels and my guides in my star family, my tightest guides that I'm always connected to and always working with. Orbit around the stars of Maya and Merope. So when people say Pleiadians do this, Pleiadians do that, it's a vast place. It's a vast star system with thousands of cultures and practices and looks and behaviors and styles of spirituality. So I don't get myself in any trouble in astral realms because I seem to be there more than I am here. I'm gonna say in the Pleiadian cultures of most of the planets and all the different dimensional spaces that are moving with around the stars of Maya and Merope. They have a beautiful way of working with their expression of retrograding energies. There's not like a Mercury there that, but they have an Akashic representation of the same field. Theirs is called the reflective nebula, and it's kind of the thing that we see when we're looking at the Pleiades. If anybody just stares at stars all the time, like I do, because I just can't not. But the reflective nebula, I'm sure scientists think it's just a bunch of dirt and gas in a cloud. Of course. When is anything that trivial ever in nature? But it's the Akashic records of the Pleiades, of most of the Pleiades, and some other spaces in different dimensions also hold records there, because there's more beings, just like we have the elven communities and the Sasquatch and the Fae and the dragons. There's different beings besides the hominids in the Pleiades, and all of their realms hold records within that reflective nebula. And like when we're working within Akashic record reading and learning how to navigate the Akashic records, it's good to know like the physical manifestation of it when you have that, like when you're in a dimension that has that, it's good to have a place to tap into. For us on Earth, it's Mercury. Sometimes it's the moon that's holding the etheric Akashic imprints for us. So when like so on Earth right now, when Mercury retrograde's coming, everybody kind of like battens down the hatches and like double check everything, cross every T, figure out every contract, don't travel, don't buy anything, because everything's going to go haywire. And Mercury retrograde has undergone the smear campaign that it has, because we live on a slave ship, because we live in a work slave environment, and that's the only reason why we fear it. Because honestly, it's something to celebrate. It's a holiday. It's a present in some Pleiadian cultures. So let's kind of, not everybody has had lifetimes in the Pleiades or connects with the Pleiades or is a Pleiadian starseed or has any interest in the Pleiades. Maybe they just want to work with releasing and letting things go. So the practice that we're going to get into would be perfect for that. And if you do connect with the Pleiades and Pleiadians and the star system and the beings, then this is a little piece of your culture that you can integrate into your life here. And I will be doing more stuff like this. It's been brought to my attention that it's very wanted. People are like, not to be like rude or anything, but people are like, you know, can we stop talking about all the spiritual stuff and can we like talk about the aliens? Because I want to talk about the aliens. Can we talk about the aliens? And I have journals upon journals upon journals upon journals of detailed accounting of different practices and cultures and things that I have noticed while traversing these different realms. So I was like, why not talk about some of the weird stuff? And this is a totally applicable thing that we can do on Earth that would like be so elevating and beautiful. So let's see. Mercury does not actually go backwards in this card. I know a lot of people think that it's actually like, it actually is speeding around and around and around, then it like slows to a stop and then it starts going backwards. But it doesn't. Once, I think in the Anoma Elish, an orbit is called like the chest plate of destiny or the seal of destiny or something. It's something very permanent gets placed on your chest. When they were talking about the gods that embodied the planetary energies, and when they received that chest plate of destiny, that was their orbit. So like an orbit is set and there's no like rewinding. Our lives get a rewinding. Our lives get this do-over moment. So that's great. But Earth is spinning on its axis and it's also going around the sun, and Mercury is doing the same thing, and it's also going around the sun, but at a different speed. Mercury goes much faster than Earth. So standing from a geocentric standpoint, standing on Earth, when we're watching the movements of Mercury, sometimes it appears to slow down and stop and go backwards, but it's not really. It's lapping us. What we're seeing is Mercury lapping us. So it makes like this loop in space that reads like that. So, but what's important to know is it is our perspective of the planet that is the influence. So like, let's say all of the toxic kind of dictatorship that came when Pluto was discovered, and very tied into the energies that Pluto represents, right? So like when we discover that planet, when we expand it to that part of our system to see, oh, there's something else out there and it represents this, that's also how that was the marker of when we expanded as a collective to experience the powers of Pluto. And our perspective of the planet is really, it's play in our lives. So we are given this narrative on Earth of what your perspective of a Mercury retrograde should be. Retrograde should feel like. What should happen to you. What's going to happen to you. Be nervous. And everything that goes wrong, to blame it on that. Like nothing ever goes wrong outside of a Mercury retrograde. Like an email never goes through when Mercury is antigrade. You know? It's because we're in this environment where our worth is tied to how much we can make, how much we can produce, how much money we can make. So if there is a point in our lives where the heavens make all of those things crash, and make us slow down and sit and have to like think about ourselves. It's terrible. It's like, when is it over? When is it over? That's the first thing in the Google thing. Like, when is Mercury retrograde? I just wanted to know the dates, and it was like the first thing that shows up is like, when is it over? But we don't know that we're missing like this huge moment where we can get a redo of anything that went down in the last 6 months that like we might have wanted to approach differently. Let's say it like that. So when we perceive Mercury slowing to a halt and then starting to move backwards, Mercury rules communication and commerce, record holding, anything that's like scribed. And it's also the planet that represents the Akashic records and past lives, your soul star. So when Mercury starts to, it's orbiting, it's recording, it's getting down all of the communication, everything that you say, everything that you do, everything you feel, and then it starts to stop. It starts to slow and stop, and then it starts to peel in the other direction. That is an opening. That movement opens a space. And that space is the Akashic records, your personal Akashic records. I mean, it's all the Akashic records because, you know, we're all just one big thing. But from a Pleiadian perspective, from a Meropian Mayan perspective, this time is expressed differently within the reflective nebula, but they still use it. It's the same energy, so we can use it the same way. During the Mercury retrograde, your Akashic records is open, and you can meditatively go into that space and undo anything, any sequence that you set off that you don't want to experience. And it is like it's the craziest thing. When my guides gave me this practice, it was earlier in my awakening. I was experiencing a lot of anxiety and a lot of guilt about my drug use during my pregnancy. And I used a lot of these kind of time traveling opportunities to undo a lot of terrible choices that I made, you know? And the results that I saw in my children, it blew, like, I've used this practice a lot on my own stuff. And it's crazy. But when you see and like, you know how you can ask for a miracle, ask for a miracle, ask for a miracle. And then when you finally get the miracle, it's like, okay, thanks. You know, like you can fall to your knees and cry and express gratitude. But then the next day you're on to the next thing you're complaining about. You know, that's kind of our human tendency. So when you see like these big shifts happening in yourself, it's easy to, oh, that's great. You know, I can't believe that honestly happened. And then like move on to what else do I need to fix? There's not a lot of reveling in but when you see it happening in someone else, I think then when it's like you're outside of it and watching it, you're like, holy shit, like this stuff actually works. Like watching the behavior in Charlie as like I meditated with this practice and meditated with this practice. I did a lot of work with him, and my guides are putting together painstakingly, slowly, putting together the practices to offer to people with star children, with children who would be on the spectrum, with even very low functioning spectrum. There are ways that they can be more comfortable within this dimension, that we can communicate together better, and we can support them better, we can understand them better, and we can just get to a point where it's not like this tense struggle, you know, for them and for, well, anyway, that's happening eventually. That's happening eventually. So there's like a lot of work that, a lot of energetic healing that went into my youngest. But it was really when I was going back in his records to his birth, to prior to his birth, to prior to even his 120-day integration, when I was just holding his avatar, that like immediately, same day, same moment. There was one time, I swear to God, oh my God, it was so crazy. I went into his records. I think he was like stomping up the stairs, or he had like a trumpet, or he had something. I don't know. He was coming up the stairs very aggressively. And I usually like meditatively brace myself for when Charlie comes in. Like if I'm in meditation and I hear him approaching, I'm like steel myself, hold, like in Braveheart, you know? But I was just listening because I was like I think I was getting a little fed up with him. He was like, it was a screamy day. It was like a screamy toddler day. And so I was just like, what am I getting so fed up with? I know how to fix this, right? Like when you realize that you are empowered. So I like sat down, went into meditation, went into his records, and he was like approaching me. As soon as I opened his records and started sending the healing to a place of him, when he was in utero, the Charlie in this room, like I was in astral sending energy to Charlie in utero, and the Charlie next to me shifted, like I can't even explain it. Like he came up to like mess with me or to mess with Copper or something, and he just went to like, oh, Copper, I love you. I love you so much. And he's been on this like, his ability to express that is, it must have been something that was like really holding in him, because he does it like all the time. Now it's Gigi, I love you, and Mommy, I love you. And it's just like, you can tell that he has this openness now that wasn't there, and that's coming on more and more and more. So it's just so cool to watch. But anyway, so you can use this practice with your kids. This should only be used with if you have had a child. There's a special connection that a parent has with the child until they're 21 years old, where you can do a lot of astral work for them. When the kid's past 21, then it's not really much you can do. But if you have a kid younger than 21, then there's a lot of work that you can do meditatively, energetically, and astrally for them, in place of them. Right. But yeah. So if you have someone that you are thinking like, I would like to kind of go into their records and heal some stuff, only do that for their kid, if they're your kid, or if you have their permission. I'm making there's some markers to the Akashic records that will open up your personal Akashic records in your consciousness, and they're standard markers. Like when they are empowered in somebody, when you envision them, it's like a key almost. Creating the visual takes you to the records, right? And making an activation where we can build kind of that etheric architecture in your consciousness so you can get in and out of your records. But right now, during the retrograde until the 14th, they're just open. And this is just an easy practice to get into, really, really quick and simple. And so my guides, as they were explaining it today, they were like, let's start with something simple so you can get like really proof in the pudding, like how it works. So try to think of something now that you would like to undo. And don't make it a long, long time ago. Just for this time, like you have this practice. You have this video, you have this practice. You can use it over and over again. But for this time, use something that you regret doing today. Think of something. It could be so simple. It could be so simple. Like you might have raised your voice at somebody, or snatched something, or didn't send an email, or didn't, start the to-do list, or whatever it was, something today that you want to do, that you want to receive a positive consequence from. That's all it really is. You kind of have to get out of the 3D mindset of like, I have to work really hard to deserve something good. And just, you can, with the alchemical transmutation, you can turn shit into fertilizer. You can turn lead into gold. So you can turn that like procrastinating, anger, violent, whatever the low frequency experience was, you can turn that shit into gold. You can alchemize it energetically. So it's not like you have to go in and like, I don't know. I know sometimes people just get a little too caught up in their head of like deserving and stuff. So, but literally, this is magic. These are practices that would be considered magic. And in magic, there's no limits. There's no limits. There's no, I can't, right? So anything you did, if you yelled at your dog, right? And you want to go back to that time and kind of change the energy, restructure the energy around that, and then release it. When you come out of meditation, you will see how the dynamics have changed between like, it's just cool. We'll just do it. Okay. So first we're going to do this practice. Wait, did I forget anything? I feel like I forgot a lot of things. My notes are just terrible. Oh God. I got that. Yeah. So yeah, we're going to make that. I have the codes downloaded for the trigger points for the records, and I'm going to make that activation maybe to be available by the time this video is out. Maybe. Let's see. Maybe I can do that in meditation today, right now. Make myself more productive. I am trying so hard to not judge myself based on how much work I do. I'm trying very hard. The conditioning is so good on this planet. Damn it. Right. I don't know if I'm forgetting anything. What was I writing about? Animals have no memory of previous birth. Who said that? Elephants do. Was I saying that or was I writing that? Oh, that's somebody else. Okay. I'm gonna, since this is a Kundalini Yoga practice, I'm gonna cover my head. And that's a good thing to talk about too. If you are ever like teaching one of these practices to a friend or anything, it is respectful and traditional to cover your head while doing so. Only if you're teaching it to someone. Just put like a hat on, put a beanie on, throw a scarf on. You don't have to go full turban, but it is very respectful of the lineage to cover your head. Rightio. So while we have this Akashic window open, we're going to open our subconscious minds. And then once we get that open, it's going to be an 11-minute practice. And once we're finished with that practice, that's when you're going to pull up whatever memory you want to reprogram. Okay? This is really reprogramming right now. And just hold it. Just hold the visualization. I'll walk you through what to do. But we're going to do this 11-minute Kriya to open your subconscious mind. And it doesn't have to be 11 minutes. It could be 11, 7, 5, or 3 minutes. But I want to do 11. So let's rub our hands together. And inhale deep. And bring your thumb joints to your sternum. Hold your breath in. If you've ever tuned into Kundalini Yoga, exhale. We tune in with 3 Om Namo Gurudev Namos. Inhale. With the inhale, pull up the rectum, organs into the diaphragm like you're stopping urination. Roll the eyes up and in. Activate third eye. Good. Exhale. And inhale to tune in. Inhale deep. Press your palms together. Put yourself in the center of 4 pillars of white light. Radiant white pillars at all 4 corners of your aura. Good. Exhale. Hold the vision of you in the center of the pillars while we chant the protection mantra. Hadgure name, Jugadgure name, Satgure name, Sri Guru Deva Vehi name. Hadgure name, Jugadgure name, Satgure name, Sri Guru Deva Vehi name. Hadgure name, Jugadgure name, Satgure name, Sri Guru Deva Vehi name. Inhale. Press the palms together. Pull the root lock up. Roll the eyes up and in. Let the tip of the tongue press on the roof of the mouth. Push your energy out of your crown. Good. Exhale and relax. Cool. So this is what we're going to do. This is the key to unlocking your subconscious mind. The key is hidden in your face. The mantra we're going to use is Satanama. And you're going to use your Jupiter finger. And the rest of the fingers are... Sorry. Oh my God, I just got like 3 beams coming in. The rest of the fingers are going to be covered by the thumb, which represents your ego. And your left hand is going to be over your heart center, over your heart chakra. And you're going to start with the bottom lip. The mantra is Satanama. So when you're going to touch the bottom lip, this is a pressure point. You're going to say Sa. Then you're going to touch the tip of the nose and say Ta. Then you're going to touch one corner of your eye and say Na. And then you're going to touch your third eye and say Ma. Then you're going to start back at the lip. Sa, Ta. This time the alternate eye. Na, Ma. Back to the lip. Sa, Ta, Na, Ma. It's already making me like go into a trance. So your eyes are going to be closed. And we're going to do this for 11 minutes. Actually, I'm not going to play a a mantra because I want you to get into the Satanama. So now just put your left hand over your heart and close your eyes. Start breathing normally. Bringing your awareness to your breath. Kind of leaving the space. And then you can begin with your bottom lip. Sa, ta, na, ma. 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 Sa, ta, na ma sa ta 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 na ma sa, da, na, ma, 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 sa, da, na, ma. Inhale deep, but hold your meditation. Exhale and stay in this space. Your subconscious mind is wide open after 11 minutes of that. Your access to the fourth dimension is open beyond space and time. Just hold your meditation and begin to conjure up your memory of the sequence that you would like to reprogram. Any sequence, any memory, small or big. And see it in detail. See the person in detail if it's a person. See the environment in detail. See and feel it in great detail. Good, and then begin to cover it in light. Make the scene a little bit brighter, like the light just turned on, and begin to replay it. Replay it the way you would be proud of it ending up. Replay it in a way that would produce a result that you'd be very happy with, or replay it in a way that leaves it open-ended, where no decisions were made, where no actions were taken. See it in your mind like this. Redo the situation in the fourth dimension. Literally reprogramming it. And just hold that image covered in light with the positive outcome feeling. And be open and receptive of love, of transmutation of energy. Just calling in more phonons, more photons of light. to enter your containers, to seal your subconscious fields. Nur orta atrat ekanyorat rat isara mahalakrit kipioashalar tataymiroti. Grounding in your light. Muro arta ataya sarata kimirat imbiru urt, and then this elastic limbic state. Mor ataya pirat olakrat imirat rasantu onyamalarat ikenyorat amielila ison rota tamalela krat ilelila komprat ik. And your time is like this. This is a closer reality to the truth of time. It's elasticity, it's limbic nature. You have a redo, you have a reset. Mort ak aratayami itirento tratik. So just breathing in, sealing in this new sequence, sealing in your new program, holding that energy in, and then exhaling it all out and coming back to this space. And your head probably feels like it's blossomed open, like mine does every time I do that subconscious tapping. I feel like I'm like a sunflower or something. I love that practice. I was just guiding through the reprogramming, and it's really that simple. You can do that tapping Satanama for 3 minutes. Open yourself to the fourth dimension. Open your own keys to your subconscious mind. You have like this. I love empowering people. Like, you don't have to spend $1 million on a hypnotist or and like hoping to connect to your higher self and hoping to see something. Like, you have access to your own subconscious mind. You have access to your Akashic records. You can read your Akashic records. You can heal yourself in your Akashic records. You can read the Akashic records of others. It just, you have to experience it, and you have to see the interconnection. So you have to see how, like, just that right now in your mind might have felt like just playing around in your imagination, right? We're still at this place on earth where we don't believe anything that we don't see. Most of us are. That's actually a sign of progression. That's one of the markers of ascension, that if you realize you're not a body, if you realize you have a body and there's more going on than the body, that's a marker of expansion. So we're still on the fence about it. I think we're still like figuring out what's going on or whatever. I think it's that simple. I think we're still figuring out what's going on here. So we're like, I need to see some evidence, right? So now seeing the interconnection of just playing around in your head, doing a little simple meditation, and then proceeding through your day and seeing how your day feels different. That person that you redid the situation with is, you're experiencing them different. You're able to hold compassion for them. That maybe if there was somebody that you wronged and you used this practice, and you have a lot of anxiety about maybe interacting in the future, you would find that that whole alignment has become neutralized and positive because of what you did. And it'll be like as if magic. You'll run into this person and it'll be like nothing happened. It will be almost like nothing happened because you have the power to redo your doings. You know, we really shouldn't get too much into regrets, and I don't want earth signs to go crazy and like just fix everything, you know. Don't, because like some of these things are what shapes us. Some of these mistakes in our mind is what gives us and builds our character and gives us the research that our soul was looking for. So I wouldn't like try to go in there with the thought of undoing, but reprogramming and putting that same situation in alignment that has like a very, very positive consequence. And that's what, so with the So I have two Pleiadian sisters, and when they were showing me this practice, the tools that they use is like nothing that we could recreate here yet. I'm working on it. I'm working on it, but you know, they have these spaces that are just set up for maintaining long periods of meditation and astral life. Just astral life. And, you know, there's these very special instruments that make special frequencies that they're kind of holding by the right side of their body the whole time. And it's like a series of bells, kind of. Maybe bells is too simple of a word. But they're like these toning symbols that are in a stack of 3, and they have different sounds, and they're very light. You make like this connection with your body through your energy field in your palm chakra, and it goes up it, and it makes the kind of tuning fork bell things reverberate, vibrate. It makes them make noises. So the energy starts to make them make noises, and it opens up different levels of like lokas, different levels of dimensions, we would say, on Earth to them, for what they can do crazy stuff like going all the way back to what they call the primal impression, which is like the first time the samskara took place, like the first say you suffer from an echoing father wound, right? You had some abandonment in a past life where your dad left you, and then every incarnation you feel unlovable and you keep like recreating that situation, right? Like they would go to the what they call the primal impression, so they can go to where like that impression began, right? And then undo it. So a lot of their goals, there's a spirit, there's a lineage in Merope of the Pleiades that the whole point is to have a samskara-less existence and kind of live this existence of stillness. So practices like this go really, really, really deep. Like this is like baseline, what we just did today. Go really, 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 really deep. A lot of times we have so many interactions with Pleiadian beings. I think the numbers are crazy. They're like in the millions of people that are connected with Pleiadian beings. And when we see a lot of these beings showing up like orbs around us, and those are like kind of how your eyes translate what they're doing. So a lot of times, like if they're flying around in astral, going back to their places of primal impression, or fixing things in different parallels, or like adding a frequency here or a code or an emission here, like, you know, getting some info from something. A lot of times we'll see that showing up as orbs. And a lot of times those orbs are us, you know, those are different versions of ourselves. They're not always us, but a lot of times they are. Yeah, so sometimes things go haywire in our version of our Mercury retrograde because of what they call positioning. So like, if there was something that you were really hoping would go through, my example is always the email that never gets sent. It's just sitting in the sent box and you thought you sent it, but it didn't, you know, and that person's waiting and you're waiting for their response. That's my example of Mercury retrograde. So a lot of times they'll call that positioning, where they will kind of set off another sequence of events in a different way that allows all of the correlated dimensions to have a higher experience. So what we might see as a setback, or like, oh, traffic jam, or the email, or the computer crash, or like my computer's never done this before and all of a sudden it just blacked out, or my phone blacked out, or something like this. This is like what they're calling positioning. If it's happening during a retrograde, it's usually your higher self or a different aspect of you that's like kind of redoing things while this Akashic window is elastic and open. And so if we weren't in this work slave ship, we would be so excited for Mercury retrograde because we could go deep within ourselves and we could go back into our past lives and we could like remove karma and fix samskara and leave like these lives of merit and be really excited about like our dharmic living. We would love Mercury retrograde if we weren't programmed to make money all the time. But we're getting out of that. We're getting out of that, and practices like this. Well, so like use this practice for really simple stuff and use it for really, really, really big stuff too. Big, massive things in your life that you cannot let go of. Relationships that you can't let go of. That regret, that job you should have kept, or like that thing that like, damn it, why didn't I do it? Use it for that big thing that like you're stuck on that you can't get over. This is what this practice is so beautiful for. And it doesn't cost $3,000 from a hypnotist. You can just do it by yourself. And then like purge through your weird subconscious stuff on your own. No, it's not. It's nothing scary. It's actually all lovely and beautiful. I'm going to get to it. I'm trying to see. There's like so many things I'm forgetting. The Pleiadians on this planet who are very connected, whether you are a full-blown star being or you are a star seed. If you have a very powerful connection to the Pleiades, if you're connected to a ship, if there's a Pleiadian ship that has like kind of a maintaining connection with you, or if you are just connected through your parallels, or if you are you just resonate with the Pleiades, just love the Pleiades, you probably can see all 7 stars with the naked eye. And my guides were telling me that that's a psychic sight, and most humans only see 6 stars. And with their naked eye. If you see all 7, that means that you are connected. You are very, very connected Pleiadian starseed, or you have very powerful connections to Pleiadian beings. And well, it would have to be something within you. It wouldn't have to just be like they support you, you know? For you to be able to see that 7th star just with no telescope with your naked eye, that means that you have some kind of like cellular genetic connection to Pleiadian beings, a very, very viable one. If you are one of these Pleiadian starseeds, then you will probably hear mourning doves all the time, the ones that sound like ooh, 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 ooh. They sound like owls, but they're really doves. They're mourning doves. They look like pigeons, but really pretty, like sleek pigeons. So all of the birds on Earth have are emissaries for different levels of dimensions, are emissaries for the sheaves. And their sounds, the bird sounds, are actually like a phone number to different dimensions. Like if you listen to a specific, you can meditate on a specific bird call, and that sound, that frequency could transport you to a different layer of heaven, or of the astral, or the ether, whatever you call it. And there's like, they have representation on Earth, and a lot of galactics use birds as emissaries as well. So Pleiadians use mourning doves, and if you hear them a lot, that's also that same kind of thing as like being able to see that 7th star. Even like Subaru means Pleiades in Japanese, and their symbol is 6 stars. And I was always like, where's the 7th one? And my friends would be like, oh, you're the 7th. The driver is the 7th star. But I think they just see the 6. And it's so crazy you could be next to somebody and be like counting with them and they won't see it. It's so crazy. But they also, with the mourning doves, if you hear it all the time, that's that same kind of thing going on, that like very connected Pleiadian DNA. I was actually using that sound sample of a mourning dove in an activation. And I was looking in the comments of the video of the sound sample that I was using. And it was like all of these people saying, what happened to these birds? I remember hearing them so much when I was little and then they stopped. Where did they go? And I was blown away. It was like so many comments like that. And then, oh, there's an orb. And then, then like a million sub comments of people being like, yeah, where did the birds go? I used to hear that when I was at summer camp, or when I was little, I would hear them all the time. And I thought they were owls. And what happened to those birds? And like, what happens to kids? You know, when they grow up and they're interconnected and they see elves and they see fae, and we keep telling them it's your imagination, and we kind of beat all the magic out of them. It disappears. So I'm like, this is literally like watching the people that lost their psychic sight. The ones that were like, the birds didn't disappear. I hear those birds all the time. There's like one on my roof at all times. There's two that had like babies in the tree next to me. And I like sing back to them. You can like have little call and responses with them. It's very heart opening. It's very, very heart opening. It's their mating call that it's the male's mating call, and it makes sense that Pleiadians use mourning doves as their emissaries on this planet because they mate like crazy. Very similar to Pleiadians in human form. They have babies like all the time, and they're always sending out their mating calls, very similar to the Pleiadian male. I don't know. I don't like to ascribe the weird earth sex stuff to how it's viewed in other star systems, because we're so fucking convoluted. We're so distorted. Like, it's like the most beautiful thing, and we just can't even like look at it without laughing. It's we have some progress to make, but that's okay. So yeah, if you hear mourning doves and you can count 7 Pleiadian stars, you're probably connected to Pleiades. Not even probably. You definitely are. And there's millions of us. Millions and hundreds and thousands. So one of my favorite people in the world, I've been working with for quite a long time, like just the most fabulous psychic, remote viewer, everything, we were in a session, I think. We're in a session or talking. And she was like, you know, I connect with being a starseed. Like, I connect with not being from here. I'm really interested in the other places, the other star systems, the beings and the cultures and all that stuff. And she's like, I feel like whenever I get into that stuff online, it always turns into spirituality. It always turns into like God and religion. And that's because it's like, we are the only separated ones that are like separated from God, you know? So when you start working with these advanced level beings, these higher beings, it turns into spirituality because that's the thing that we're missing. You know what I mean? The focus turns into you're a spirit, you're a spirit, you're a spirit, meditate, chakra. It turns into all this stuff. We're like, wait, I didn't want to go to India. I wanted to go to Arcturus. And then why are we talking about the same thing? Because a lot of those yogis, a lot of those monks, all of the dharmic lineages come from interplanetary spaces. And so like, it's all gonna lead you back to God. It always will. So like, but it just made me laugh because she was like, I'm tired of talking about this energy stuff and this vibration stuff. Like, I want to talk about aliens. So I was like, all right, cool. All right, then I got you. Because I was like, I have books and books and books upon books upon books about like things that I see in different places. So I will make sure to start adding more of that in, more practical, applicable things, of course, as well, because I like it when we can benefit from the teachings. We're not going to worship our guides. We're going to learn from our guides. Damn it. And that's it. Yeah. Okay. So now I'm going to get to work on finishing that Akashic record activation for everybody. And if I'm not finished that by tomorrow, I'll still release this video tomorrow because tomorrow's Wednesday. And it's Mercury Day. And it's about Mercury. Also, there's a psyop on Mercury. There's a smear campaign against Mercury, like the metal, like the liquid metal. All the stuff that says it's so dangerous, it doesn't burn your skin. You can drink it. I watched a guy drink it today, and he's fine. So, side note.